Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about Casper the Friendly Ghost. Now, Casper the Friendly Ghost starts off in the manor where two kids are trying to break into the manor to take a picture to tell everyone that they were in the haunted mansion that haven't been used or lived in for years. And Casper, being the friendly ghost that he is, offers to take the picture when they are fighting about who's going to take the picture. So, Casper ends up taking the picture and scaring the boys away. And then he goes into his room, upset and in the dark because all he wants is a friend. And so he is watching TV one night and he can see this famous doctor person who can actually bring ghosts back to life. Who can actually bring ghosts back to life. And so he wondered about him because he says he's a famous doctor who can actually communicate with the dead. So Casper is fascinated by him. Meanwhile, we cut off to the attorney's office where Carolyn, her father, left her something in his will. And Dibs, her attorney, is with her also. And then the lawyer says, well, he did leave you this manor. And then when she finds out that he didn't leave her any money, she gets upset. She actually gets upset and throws the will into the fireplace. But Dibs, her attorney, reminds her Carolyn the deed's in there. And so when they dig it out, they realize that the mansion that she now owns has treasure in it. But she doesn't know that Casper lives there. So she goes to the mansion to see if it's empty and to see if it's ready to renovate, because when somebody owns it, she's gonna tear it down and dig for the treasure. So they go to the castle, they meet Casper, they get afraid of Casper. So they call in Dr. James, the doctor who can talk to ghosts to get rid of Casper. Oh, and his uncle's Stretchy, Fatso, and Stinky. I'm not kidding, those are really their names. So, Dr. James, the doctor who can talk to ghosts, moved into the house with his daughter Kat, and he is put to the test by Carolyn to say, if you can get rid of the ghost, everything will be alright. We just need to get rid of the ghost so we can sell the house to you. Even though they already bought the house, so I don't know what all this is about. But anyway, he says, I will try my best. So his daughter, Catherine, Cat, as her nickname is, so I'm gonna call her Cat throughout this video. Cat goes searching for her bedroom, and she finds Casper's bedroom, and she says, Dad, I found my bedroom. And then she actually uses Casper as a pillow for the first time. And it's just so funny. but her and Casper haven't really met yet. But Casper is shy because he's never met a girl before. And now a girl is in his room and he is all excited. So now, along with this being a new house for Kat, as it's a new house every month because of her dad's job, her dad says, "Hey, if I cannot find any if I cannot find any ghosts in this house, we will move again. I will get a new job and you will finally make some friends because I know you had trouble making friends because we move a lot." And so he said, "If I don't find any ghosts in this house, I will give up the ghost hunting and the ghost talking business." And the reason he started this is because his wife passed away and he thinks his wife may have some unfinished business. So he started ghost hunting because he is looking for his wife, Marilyn. And don't worry, you guys, we will come back to her. So the next morning, Kat gets up and she finally meets Casper. Well, she actually met Casper in the afternoon, but then she got scared. So her dad put her in the closet and said, "Apologize later." And then Casper tried to keep his uncles out of the house, but they knew he was trying to do that. So Casper actually got pushed down by his uncles so his uncles could go in the house. And when they went in the house, they saw Dr. James and Kat, and they were trying to scare them. So they did scare Dr. James a little bit, but then he got a vacuum and vacuumed them up into the vacuum. And so they're vacuumed up into the bathroom. Okay, right? So she meets Casper once again that morning, and he makes breakfast for her and her father. And then the uncles come that morning again, and they asked Casper, "Where's our breakfast?" And so Casper makes them breakfast, but down there when they are eating, he is busy cleaning the floor because he wants the house to look nice because they have company, and his uncles tell him to stop cleaning because it's supposed to be dirty. This is our house and we can eat stuff off the floor if we want to. And Kat says, "What is you guys' problem? He's just cleaning the floor." And Uncle Skinny says, "Stay out of this." And Kat says, "Why don't you drop dead?" And then and then Skinny the uncle says, "Been there, done that." And then Kat says, "Get a grade." And then when her father sees that there's a big fight going on here, between her and the ghost. He says, "Aren't you going to be late for your first day of school?" So he pushes her out the door and tells her to go to school and to have a great time and to make lots and lots of friends. So Dr. James tells them when they're done with breakfast, they will meet in his office and he will talk about crossing them over. And then they throw their breakfast at him, and then Dr. James says, "Well, it is your hour." And when the doctor says it's your hour, it kind of reminds me of the little ghost that I did last week on my channel. And it's just so cute because it kind of reminds me of the ghostly hour, because when Dr. James said it was your hour. Okay, so back to the movie. Okay, so when Kat's in school, she introduces herself and she says where she lives, and then everybody is shocked because that place hasn't been lived in for years, and the place is supposed to be haunted. So, even though they have a place for the Halloween party to be this year, they have a yacht because a girl in Kat's class is rich and she has a yacht that they can use for the Halloween party. But they offered to use Kat's house for the Halloween party. And since the girl doesn't like this, she actually makes a plan with her best friend Nick to actually scare Kat, because later on, because way back in the beginning of the movie, Kat saw Nick riding his bike along with this girl's name that I cannot remember. I am sorry, but in Casper the Friendly Ghost, if you guys want to watch it, it's on Netflix. You guys can tell me the girl's name because I cannot remember the girl's name right now. So the girl and her friend Nick planned to scare Kat at the Halloween party. And when Nick asks Kat to the Halloween party, Kat doesn't know that it's a setup from Nick and the girl, but mostly the girl, not Nick, because Nick kind of likes her. From Nick and the girl. Casper actually gets jealous that Kat never asked him to the dance. So Casper begins to dance in her jewelry box, and then Casper ends up taking her on a flight to see the harbor. And I just have to admit, it is such a beautiful scene in that water in the sky. And they talk about their parents, and Casper talks about how he cannot remember his mom or remember anything about his life. And then Kat said, that's so sad. And then Casper says, oh, it's alright. And then when Casper and Kat go home, Kat goes to bed, and then Casper, the sweet little ghost, kisses her on the cheek, and Kat says, "Casper, can you close the window? It's cold." So I guess she felt the kiss on the cheek, and since he's a ghost, I guess he feels kind of cold. So he slept at the at the end of the bed. Oh, and meanwhile, with the uncles Stretchy, Fatty, and Stinky, don't I don't like this part that they did when when the professor was talking about them crossing over. They were destroying half of his stuff that he had in a moving box, and he almost destroyed the picture of his wife Marilyn. And then they said they know where Marilyn is, and then they said how a peach she was and so sweet. She was so sweet like a peach. So, you guys know what I'm saying. A peach like the fruit, the peach. Okay, so anyway, they fake it like they know where Marilyn is. And then when he opens the door and he looks back at the ghost, they tell him to go so he can see Marilyn. So when he walks in, he thinks it's Marilyn, but it's actually Fatty the uncle that is actually playing a joke on him. And Fatty is dressed like Marilyn, and Fatty says, "My man," and then they just laugh in his face. But they do take him out, so he is feeling a little bit better because the boys do take him out for some fun. But then the horriblest thing happens. While he is having so much fun, and he offered to let the goat have the house because he is so happy and he is so in a good mood now that he actually falls off of the building because they're on top of the building. And, well, they're not on top of the building, but it is nighttime, so the dad walks into traffic and he gets hit by a car. And now he is a ghost. Meanwhile, while this is going on, while the dad's a ghost now, Kat has found Casper's old room and she fixes it and then she fixes it up all nice for Casper to see it. Casper is just so happy, and then Kat actually finds out what happened to Casper buying a magazine clipping. His dad, what was an inventor. And at Christmas time, Casper asked for a sled. And so when he first got the sled, him and his dad went for a ride. But Casper actually went too fast on the sled. And then when he went too fast, he went down a hill. And then he passed away because he fell off the sled. And then when Casper died, the dad said that he was being hunted by his son's old ghost. Casper was his son, and he claimed that he was being hunted by him, which is true, but nobody believed him. So, since the dad was an inventor, he invented a machine that could bring Casper back to life. But when Cat and Casper tried the machine, it turned him into egg whites. And then they forgot the most important ingredient because his dad made a potion that you put in the machine that can make Casper come back to life. But when the uncles show up with the dad, once again a ghost, and he can't remember Cat, and Cat says, "Come on, Dad, you have to remember." And then when Cat holds up her pinky, because he pinky sweared that if he could not find a ghost, they can move again back to their old house, and he can get a normal job, and he will drop all this ghost nonsense. So when Cat holds up her pinky, this is when he remembers. And then Casper tells Dr. James. Dr. James, well, actually, his name is Dr. Harvey. So Casper ends up saying, "Dr. Harvey, you need this more than I do." So Casper uses all the potion to turn him human, and then him and Cat hug. And just let me tell you, I know why they call it Casper the Friendly Ghost, because that was the most sweetest thing that Casper's just a sweetheart. He's just such a sweetheart, because that was just so sweet. He used the potion that his dad made for him on Cat's dad, and then Cat and her dad hugged. And then, meanwhile, we get back to Kerrigan and Dibs, the attorney, and they actually snuck into the house once again, and they know about the potion, so they tried to kill one another to bring each other back to life. So I guess we're trying to drop that treasure thing, because once they bring each other back to life, Kerrigan says that they are gonna split the treasure, but Dibs ends up killing her first, and then she ends up becoming a ghost once again and trying to search for the treasure. Meanwhile, everybody is at Cat's door waiting to come in for the Halloween party. So while the Halloween party is going on, Casper and Dr. Harvey are trying to get rid of the ghost and are trying to get rid of Catherine and are trying to get rid of Cat oh is trying to get rid of Cat are trying to get rid of Cat is trying to get rid of Catherine and Gibbs. But Cat lets everybody come inside and they start dancing and having fun. Meanwhile, you remember the girl and Nick? Well, the girl and Nick start setting up their prank to scare Cat. But then when they look at themselves in the mirror, they see Snips and Catherine as ghosts, and then they get scared and run off. And then everybody starts clapping because they were so mean and evil that they are gone and they can actually have a party. And Snips actually just poofs away because he says he has no unfinished business anymore. So when you have no unfinished business anymore, I guess the ghostly ram will just take you and poof you away. So he is poofed away. And Marilyn says she has no more unfinished business because she has the potion, the mansion, everything she wants. But Casper and Cat says every ghost has unfinished business, and you need your unfinished business to stay earthbound. But since Cat since wait since Carolyn doesn't have any unfinished business, like Snip, like Dib doesn't her, like Dibs doesn't her eternity, she poofs away also into the ghostly realm. And then, while the party is going on and everyone is having so much fun, Casper is just watching the party just go on and go on and go on. And Wildcat's dad is watching, just like Casper is. He gets a visit from his wife Marilyn, and Marilyn tells him how much she loves him and how Cat loves him and how he is so proud of and how and how and how she is so proud of them both. And 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 James asks, "How did you get here?" And then Marilyn says, "Let's just say you know 3 ghosts who keep their word." So the uncles kept their word and they found Marilyn for him. And then, since Casper did that selfless act and he brought back James, the mom turned him human until 10 o'clock, and then him and Cat danced together. And then Casper whispered in her, and then Casper whispers in her ear, "I told you I was a good dancer." And then Cat says Casper, and then they kiss. And then, when it strikes 10 o'clock, Casper turns back into a ghost, and Marilyn has to go back with the other ghostly spirits. And then when Casper turns back into a ghost, everybody gets scared and runs out. And then Cat says, "Not so bad for my first Halloween party, huh, Casper?" And then Cat's dad says, "The night's not over yet. Hit it, boys." And then the uncles played the theme song, Casper the Friendly Ghost, on guitar, and they all had the dance party in the mansion that is theirs to keep. And that is the end of Casper the Friendly Ghost, the movie. Well, not Casper the Friendly Ghost, but Casper the movie. Bye. See you guys in my next video. And to my family, to yours, happy Halloween. Bye.